Welcome guys, HaKDMoDz here with lesson 3 of my C++ tutorial playlist. Today we'll be inserting the variables and declaring variables and calling variables. Okay, first off, clear the slate from last lesson. Okay, next off we will be doing the standard syntax, which is include namespace and also the pound include iostream, as well as I'll be including a few others in this lesson, which are stream and possibly IOM IP. But first off, open up your new statement, type include iostream using namespace standard int main with the open close bracket and then the brace. Inside that we'll be declaring some integers and we'll be declaring their variables. So first off, I'll declare a variable as n, and n is going to equal 100, and it's an int for integer. You can declare multiple data types such as integer, character, string, and many more. Okay, first off, we'll be adding an integer declarable as b, and it's going to be a value of 200. An integer value of c, and it's going to be 300. You'll see why I'm doing this in a couple seconds. Okay, next off, we'll be declaring some strings. No, I won't do characters, I'll do strings. Okay, how am I going to do this lesson? Okay, so continue on with this. I might do a couple of characters. No, actually I'll do strings. Make it easier for the lesson 3. In future videos we'll be doing arrays, and in the next one and after that we'll progress on to the more harder stuff. Okay, so string h is the variable and it equals the text hello world. So we're declaring these variables and with data types. Okay, so remember from last lesson, the /n equals new line. So we'll declare another one, hi. I will be the variable, and it's going to equal, this is your first C++ program application with variables declared. Okay, new line. You don't have to type a new line, you can do arrow, end line, semicolon, but I just use /n. Okay, so we'll be using a statement with the cout, and it's going to say hello world. I'll show you the multiple ways of outputting your statements using variables and without using variables. Okay, so hello world. I'll do it in capitals with a small start letter so you can see which line is doing what. Excuse me. Okay, so I'll just do a couple of /n so I get a couple blank lines. Okay, and we'll be using the end line command with an extra line. So end line. So we'll have 5 lines there of blank text, which is the /n. Then you got one more for end line. Then you got the end line to finish the statement. Okay, next I'll do another cout statement, and it's going to output I. And remember, if you look up ahead, I is going to declare. Has been declared as I, and the statement variable is this is your first C++ application with variables declared. Okay, so now we'll do a more complex string, and it's cout A, and we're going to plus B, and they've got to be separate. If it's a statement, it's got to if it's a string, it's got to be declared. It's got to be used within quotation marks, such as I'm doing. Okay, and it needs to they need to be separated by the arrows. but I must have missed them. I'll go back to that in a second. Okay, so A plus B equals, and you'll notice that the equals and the plus are within quotation marks. That's because they're a string or a character string. Well, it's pretty much the same thing. A character is one character, a string is multiple. So next we'll be doing the C out, and then the answer, which is C, so 300. So now we'll do, yeah, that's right, I forgot to put the arrows in. Okay, so go back and do that. I'll quickly remove this line, this extra line here too. So our statement's going to say A plus B equals, and then it's going to output C, which is 300, because we've declared it as C and with a value of 300. Okay, so I enter the arrows. Their syntax is to separate the statement. Okay, so now we'll save it and we'll run it. You can push F9 to run, or you can go up to the top, say hello world, this is your first C+ application which is with variables declared. 100 plus 200 equals 300. Okay, so now we'll add an end line there. So that it makes it more neater. Okay, so now C end line, and then end line again because I want two blank lines. Okay, save it, run it, see what the changes have made, and if you've got any errors. You'll notice down the bottom in the debugging console that it uses the compiler and shows you the output structure and output build log. Okay, so that all ran fine. Now we'll do a bit more complex stuff. Note, this is the very first basic set of learning guide for C++. Without knowing this stuff, you'll struggle. Okay, so now we're going to set a double. A double is opposed, such as it's a data type such as int and string are. There's also float and multiple other data types. Okay, so we'll be declaring double and sum1 equals 0, and that's at the initialization will be 0. So that number will change if we instruct it to. Now I'll do a different one, a float. A float gives you a decimal point of 00 if you set it with a new header at the top, which I haven't done because I'll do that in the next lesson to show you. Okay, so string number 2, string answer equals, and then a blank string, nothing is written to it yet. Might actually change that to an integer so that we can input the sin into there for the answer once you declare a question with a cout statement. But I'll slowly teach along here. So string answer equals a blank quotation space and a semicolon to finish the statement. All statements must have a semicolon to end the statement. Otherwise the compiler won't know what you're trying to do. Okay, so now we're going to cout and I'll give it a question so that the user can input an answer, and the answer will be declared into answer variable. And then we can just call the variable answer and display the answer. So what is, and then we'll separate it by double arrow left, and then we'll give it A. So A is equivalent of integer A is 100. So what is 100? And then separate it again, plus within quotation marks, and then plus B. So B equals 200. So what the question there we're asking is, what is A 100 plus B 200? And then we're going to input the answer that the user inputs into the variable answer, which is set as an integer. And we'll declare it as initialize at 0. Okay, so now when we run it, it's going to ask what is 1 plus 2, what is 100 plus 200, and you're going to answer the answer, and it's going to be inputted into the variable answer with a data type of integer. Okay, so the answer to the question is, this is going to be a cout statement, which is going to declare before, going to output the statement before you've declared answer. So there we got the answer to the question is, and then it's going to call answer variable. So answer has the value that we stored from the question, and then we'll give it to n lines. So we'll save that and run it. So there we go. We've got hello world. This is your first application for variable declared. 100 plus 200 equals 300. So now we'll ask the question, what is 100 plus 200? The answer is question 300. Okay, so that's pretty much got it for this lesson. We've learned how to declare variables with strings as string data type, integer data type, float data type, and double data type. Okay, I'm HaKDMoDz. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next lesson.